Good morning everyone, happy Boxing Day, hope you guys had a nice Christmas and welcome back to RiksFishing. So it's just gone 10 to 8, I'm almost at the fishery now, staying really local today. I'm meeting Sam up at Duncton Mill Trout Fishery near Petworth, so that's about 15 minutes from my front door. So yeah, nice easy journey this morning. So tactics wise, I don't really kind of have much of a plan today. I'm kind of just in the mood just to have some fun. It's Boxing Day, I've only got a few hours to fish. Incidentally, I have to be gone by 11. So I'm thinking today I'm just going to have some fun. So I may change my mind once I get down to the water, but the current thinking is I may just stick with fry patterns. So on my last outing to Northbrook, we discussed early winter tactics. And the one thing I kind of neglected to mention was fry imitation. So the popular choice there would be Cats Whisker, but there's also floating fry imitations. I've also got some very realistic looking trout fry patterns made from sort of epoxy and all the little trout spots painted on, etc, etc. So yeah, we may just have a bash at fry imitations, compare the epoxy to the floater to the Cats Whisker, ultimately just see which one does better. Then on the other hand, I may just go into my box and decide, right, I'm just going to try lots of different things that I never ever reach for. So again, it's just a bit of a muck around Boxing Day. So yeah, let's see how we get on. We've just arrived at the venue now, so I'll see you guys in the water in a minute. Right guys, so these are the three patterns that I want to compare. So we're going to start with the Cats Whisker just because it's a good choice to just get one on the bank. Then we've got this floating fry imitation that we just strip back along the surface at quite high velocity. And then look how realistic this is. We've got a little Rainbow Trout fry pattern as well. So we're going to compare those three fry imitations. Cats Whisker is obviously the best known, but we'll see how these other two do as well. I'm going to start with Cats Whisker. I've got a 3-fish ticket today. The good thing about Duncton, incidentally, I've said this before, but you can have as many visits as you want to the non-members lake here as I am until your 3 fish are used up. So it's nice to get at least 2 or 3 today. And there's the first one on. Oh! Just a little stocky snatched the Cats Whisker. Right guys, so Cats Whisker has me a fish on the 4th cast, having lost one on the 3rd cast. So yeah, it's a good pattern just to get one on the bank quickly. There we go. Boxing Day trout, yeah. What's that? 2.5 pound to start the morning. Right, I'm just going to do something else, guys, that Dan here from Dunton recommended in one of his videos, which is to bleed the trout. Because apparently it allows for a lot better eating. I normally cold smoke mine anyway, but yeah, we could just do that as another little experiment. Okay, so this is the second choice, floating fry pattern. I just thought actually we could also add in traditional patterns like Alexandra and other sort of little fry imitations as we go along today. So because this is floating and the intention is to strip it along the surface, I'm just putting some Fuller's mud maybe on the first 2-3 feet next to the fly, because that'll just help that leader sink. Okay, so we're just literally stripping that back for half a dozen strips and then just leave it for a second. Half a dozen strips, and Yeah, a little bit of science. What we're doing here, we're obviously appealing to the trout's visuals, but when you create a disturbance along the surface, you're also appealing to the trout's lateral line. Now, I don't know what the cells in the lateral line are called, but obviously they detect vibrations and things like that. So, you know, a trout will literally detect this surface disturbance possibly before it even sees what's going on. Oh, yeah, we had one just shoot past it there. It'll detect this disturbance. Yeah, look, that trout's following. Don't know if you can see that, guys. So yeah, that's just something worth bearing in mind as well. You know, if you're fishing, for example, in very, very murky water, which this isn't, this is very clear today, but if you were fishing in murky water, you can use maybe, say, a large pattern on the day just to create some displacement of the water as you retrieve it. And like I said, that lateral line will then pick up that pattern. But the fish are definitely on the feed. That's the nice thing about coming to the fisheries now in December, January, is that first light is essentially when the gates open, 8 o'clock, and that's when the trout are feeding at first light. Whereas in the summer months, with first light being at about 4 in the morning, by the time you turn up at a fishery, the trout are usually stuffed. Yeah, I've just noticed those last few trout, they seem to come up, here's another follow, they seem to almost roll into it as if they knew it was a fry and they were trying to stun it. So I'm thinking that if that happens again, I'll let the trout think that he has stunned the fry, and I'll just slow it down and make it really erratic, as if it is a dying fish, just to see if it comes back and snatches. Oh, another. That's the third attempt to take at that one on the surface. Yeah, they're coming up and they're kind of rolling over it, but they're just not getting it into their mouth. They're kind of rolling into it. So yeah, this is actually the first time I think I've used this pattern. It's been in my box for years and years. Having bought it, I'm pretty sure, if not in my late teens, in my early 20s, and don't think I've ever got around to using it. So yeah, that's been in my arsenal for about 20 years, and it's finally getting to get its first dip. How we're going to fish this, we're just going to twitch it along. Literally, imagine this is just something like a little tiny fish pattern, little stickleback. We're just twitching it along, occasionally moving it around, nothing dramatic. So basically just a very, very slow figure of 8 with the occasional pause. And yeah, hopefully we can see how cannibalistic these trout are on Boxing Day. Sam's using a blue flash damsel.
Hang in a minute, mate.
Oh, we just had a take. Another tentative take.
We've had nothing cold.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very well. We stuck it out for an hour. Not enough more than that.
Nah, exactly.
Nice little 2-pounder.
The takes are tentative this morning, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not. There's no movement. But we've had a sudden drop in temperature, so they're probably.
Okay guys, so this is the last retrieve here with this epoxy. Having just had a couple of knocks on it and probably fished it now for the last half hour, I'm just going to change up. So we've effectively been here for an hour. We've gone through our first 3 patterns. The Cats Whisker was a clear winner. Probably unsurprising there. So yeah, I still want to fish here for about another hour or so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with fry imitations and we'll possibly pop on some traditional patterns. So let's go to the box now in a second and we'll see what we have to choose from. 0 on the realistic looking trout epoxy. What a shame. Okay guys, this is my little box of traditional wets, well on this side anyway. So what have we got that could potentially imitate a fry? We have a Alexandra, and we have a Butcher's now. I think I'll pop on the Butcher's. It's a good sort of, again, one of those like the cormorant, a good versatile pattern. It could just imitate various bits and pieces from nymphs to fry and things like that. You can see it's got the silver and red, a little bit of black there. So yeah, as we're on a fry only theme today, I think this is probably going to be a good bet. Right, let's give this Butcher's a Butcher's. It's been a long time since I've fished a traditional wet pattern. Growing up in County Fermanagh, it's pretty much all I ever used because I was fishing for wild brownies at that time of my life. So it'll be lovely to catch one on this traditional pattern, having not fished them for many, many years. And again, it's just a nice, slow, steady retrieve. I guess the Butcher's, you could say, is one of those flies that falls under the category maybe just attractors. You know, it's doesn't really imitate anything. Again, like I said, a little bit like the cormorant, but it's got all the various bits and pieces there just to be an attractor. It's got the red tail, the silver body, the large black wing, which would create a nice silhouette in the water. So I'm actually starting off here fairly confident about this pattern, but trout do sometimes have a habit of just completely changing the script. Yep, we have one on the Butcher's. And again, like every single take this morning, Sam's included, it was a really, really subtle little take. It's almost like the line just tightened as it just slowly pulled it away. But yeah, first trout for over 25 years on a traditional wet pattern. The Butcher's hasn't let us down. Come on, get out of those weeds. Get out of those weeds. Oh, you little bugger. That's it, he's clear. Oh, quite a lively rainbow here. Quite a lively little fish, that. There we go. Actually, guys, it's a beautiful Boxing Day Spartic on a traditional wet fly. How special is that? Absolutely beautiful. Definitely fighting harder than the first rainbow. A beautiful Boxing Day Spartic. A PB Spartic's £2 from this same venue, so it may even creep over that if we can get it in. Yeah, but I went into the reeds and started fighting hard. I kind of thought, I wonder if it's maybe just one of the browns that Dan puts in here, and turns out it wasn't a rainbow. Alright, come on, Mr. Spartic. Let's get you in. Now that is interesting, guys. You know, the Cats Whisker picked up a rainbow. Sam had his damselfly nymph on, again picked up a rainbow. We stick on something just a little outside the box, so we get a whole new species here. Wow, it's fresh. That is a fresh fish. A wee bit of pressure on it now. There we go. He's in the net, guys. Oh, that's actually made my whole day. Right, let's get a look at him. Wow. Now, is that a Spartic or is that a brook trout? I actually suspect that might be a brook trout, guys, which is a brand new species for me, because the Spartic, as I recall from the last Spartic I caught, has got little red spots on it. So yeah, I think actually this might be my first ever brook trout on Boxing Day 2025. Fantastic. That is a very, very unexpected little treat. God, it took that fly well. I could just look at that for hours. Brilliant. Well guys, that was a lovely unexpected fish. Now, decision is, do we change up and try Alexandra, Peter Ross, or do we stick with the butcher? And I think the answer is probably quite obvious. I think given that beautiful success, we will just stick with the butcher. And actually the challenge now is seeing if we can pick up maybe a third species. So yeah, 3 years ago when I first came here to fish, having moved to the area, spoke with Dan. He hadn't long taken over this place, and he said, if you want to catch brown trout, just think outside the box and pop on something other than the usual sort of Cats Whisker and, you know, bits and pieces. So took his advice, and on the King's coronation day, I remember I had 2 PB browns that day on a pheasant tail nymph from this spot here. So yeah, we're going to try here with the butchers and see if we can pick up a bonus brown. I very, very much doubt it, because, you know, I've had enough luck today, I feel. Right guys, we have our third fish on, again on the butchers, probably on about the 4th cast here. So turns out that's a very, very, very sweet little pattern. Now, what is this? It was an extremely subtle take. I was just retrieving a very, very slow figure of 8 because I was trying to keep it deep in the water, and the line just straightened out so gradually and unremarkably that I just figured, oh, I've just snagged the bottom. But as the line continued to just get pulled out, I just lifted into it and we got our third fish on. And I think it might be a rainbow. Yeah, I think getting a trio of species was just too much to ask in any given day, but at the end of the day, what we have discovered, despite being the Cats Whisker, I think, in the lead earlier, I would probably have to give the day to the butchers. Just as a totally unexpectedly successful pattern. We have a fairly fresh rainbow here. Probably about the 2.5 mark, maybe 3. Come on, fishy. There we go. It's a bit of pressure on. A little bit of pressure. Oh, it's not ready. Nearly there. There we go. He's over the net. Great. Best fish of the day, guys. Definitely best fish of the day in terms of size. Alright guys, let's have a closer look. Fly has come out in the net. Zulu, no, not Zulu, butchers. Butchers definitely done the business today. And that's actually been the best bit about the day, is just discovering that fly again after all these years. And yeah, a rainbow probably for about £3 in weight. Lovely, lovely condition. Dan farms these fish on site, and I have to say, you know, the word is, speaking to other fisheries that he supplies, that he's an extremely good fish farmer. The guys down at Chalk actually said it's almost spooky how Dan manages to kind of genetically build these fish, if that makes sense. He's just a very, very good fish farmer. So yeah, come down to Duncton and give it a go, guys. Right guys, so that's the end of the session, so we're just going to walk over here and just check out the final bag. A couple of other anglers have just turned up. Been here, yeah, hour and 3/4 to catch the 3 fish and have a little bit of a mooch around. Yeah, that brook trout is actually a tiger trout. I've done a little bit of research now that all the excitement has passed. So yeah, let's look at the final bag. So yeah, final bag basically. I think it was a 2 1/4 rainbow, a 2 1/2 tiger trout. Lovely, lovely. That's the first for me. And then a £3 rainbow just to finish off. So Yeah, do you know what? I'm so excited. I honestly can't remember what I had that one on, but yeah, sorry, that one was on the Cats Whisker, and then obviously butchers and butchers. So had a great morning here at Duncton Mill Trout Fishery near Petworth. So pleased to add a new species to the list. And yeah, we'll go home now and we'll get these curing in the fridge, and we'll probably cold smoke them over maybe cherry, something like that. Okay guys, that is a wrap. What a memorable Boxing Day that has been. Rediscovered the butcher's fly, having not fished it for, well, forever. I don't even think I've actually fished the butcher's before, but it was just so nice to reacquaint with traditional wet flies that I used during my childhood growing up in Northern Ireland, and nail a brand new species. Incidentally, a little bit of research tells me that's a tiger trout, not a brook trout. And the tiger trout is a hybrid between the brown and the brook. So yeah, it's all a bit complicated, but brand new species on a lovely pattern. And yeah, couldn't be happier. So just before we go, I thought I'd just give you a tour of the members area of Duncton. So there's 3 other lakes to fish here at Duncton. I've only ever been a non-member here, so I've only ever had the opportunity to fish birch that we were on this morning. But that's one of the lakes. And there's another lake just over there. And then just beyond the hill, we'll not bother walking over now because we need to get back home, but just beyond the hill there's a small lake called Alder, I believe, which is browns only. And here is the brand new lodge at Duncton Mill Trout Fishery. Lovely cozy looking seat there. And yeah, I'll just have a little mooch in. So, oh wow, this is impressive. Yeah, Dan just lit the fire here and it's really toasty already. Oh my god. So we've got a huge stonking rainbow. Can't see any weight on the case, but that thing's got to be sort of mid-double. And then we've got a gorgeous brown up here as well. We have an old traditional rod there, looks like an old cane salmon rod. So yeah, lovely lodge, I have to say, Dan, well done. Nice Chesterfield furniture. There's a pheasant there on the wall as well. You know what a lovely little lodge, and just the attention to detail, just these old school scales. These are the type of scales I used back in the 80s when I was pike fishing. Yeah, well done Dan, cracking lodge. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Not too sure where I'm off to next, but no, I am. I've booked Colesford Mill for January, and Sam and I want to go back to Rockbourne. We went there during the summer, and it was just a bit weedy, and it was just difficult with, you know, those horrible summer conditions that we had. So we're going to go back to Rockbourne and hopefully see it in better shape, and that'll probably be in February. So anyway, happy Christmas guys, enjoy the rest of the festive season, tight lines for next year. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. All right, take care guys.